Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Curious or Curious Thoughts. It's your neighborhood Northeastern University student, Arushi, and today I am going to be talking about the reason why everyone who comes to Northeastern, the co-op program. So first of all, what is co-op, right? So co-op is basically a 6-month long job period where students basically go out into the field that they eventually want to work in, and they work in a job that they would potentially work in. And so this period basically lasts 6 months, but instead of doing it kind of like after you graduate, you do it while you're in college. So what that means is you basically do the 6 months either starting in your sophomore year or your junior year, and I'll explain the whole like sample graduation plan later, but basically there's 2 different cycles that you can go in, and since it's 6 months, basically the way that Northeastern splits up their scheduling is that there's spring semester, which is January through April, summer 1, which is May through June, and then summer 2, which is July through August, and fall semester, which is September through December. So during the co-op cycle, you do 1 summer semester and 1 fall or spring semester. So for example, if you're doing a spring co-op, you would be doing co-op from January through June, and if you were doing a fall co-op, you would be doing it July through December. So that would be 6 months, and that would be 2 different semesters, but basically 1 half of a semester and 1 full semester. So before I talk about basically a sample graduation plan that you can have including co-ops, I'll just give you a little bit of background information regarding like how you choose when to do it and things like that. So basically how it's structured is every person can choose to do either 2 co-ops or 3 co-ops. 2 co-ops, usually you graduate in 4 years unless you want to graduate in 5 years and take like a little bit more time, or 3 co-ops where you do graduate in 5 years and you don't pay tuition while you're on co-op unless you're actually like taking like an online class or something. That's like a really nice perk, so you can like kind of take your time and get that experience if you want to, but if you don't want to, it's totally up to you. You can do 2 co-ops or even 1. A lot of people do either one. And so basically in freshman year, you don't go straight into co-op. They do a lot of preparation for you first. In freshman year, you get to choose like, do I want to go on co-op in the spring or in the fall? So what a standard plan would be for a spring cycle co-op, for example, you choose that in freshman year, and then you take your co-op class in the fall semester of your sophomore year, so your second year, and then in the spring semester of your 3rd year, you would be on co-op after applying to co-ops while you're in the co-op class in the fall semester. So I know this sounds a little bit confusing, so I'll show you a sample graduation plan right now. Okay, so I'm going to be talking you guys through a sample 4-year graduation plan if you were on the fall co-op cycle. It does change if you were on the spring co-op cycle, but you would be starting your classes off in your 1st year. So I've marked the classes in orange, and you would be taking them throughout your 1st year and potentially in the summer, depending on if you had any AP or IB credits to transfer in. And then you would be starting your 2nd year, again taking classes throughout the year, but then applying to co-ops and taking the co-op class in the spring semester. And then you would be taking classes again throughout your spring semester of your 3rd year and potentially your summer 1, and again taking classes in your spring semester right before you would be graduating. And then you would be on co-op in the summer 2 and the fall semesters of your 3rd year and your 4th year, and so you'd be developing all of that experience, and you would be working basically a full-time job during those 2 6-month periods. So one of the biggest parts of the co-op process at Northeastern University is the co-op class. So the co-op class is a 1-credit class that all students take the semester before they go on co-op. So for example, if you were going on co-op in the spring, you take it in the fall semester before, or if you're going on co-op in the fall, you would take it in the spring semester for. And just to clarify, if you were doing your first co-op in the fall, you would be doing your co-op in the fall semester of your junior year. So the summer, July through August for your junior year, and then the September through December of your junior year. So you don't jump straight into it from freshman year. The earliest you can basically do in co-op is the spring of your sophomore year. So you do get a little bit of time to like prepare yourself and mentally like get ready for what co-op will be, which is great. So this 1 credit class is actually incredibly useful, and the way that they split up the class for people is that they organize the classes by major. So whatever major you're in, you get a specific co-op advisor, and every student has a co-op advisor. So no student, like, you don't have to seek out the co-op advisor, they're assigned to you, and basically they're the people who manage kind of the similar jobs from a potential job positions that you would hold from your major. So for example, if you were a psychology major like me, you know, the co-op advisor would be responsible for, say, a certain amount of jobs that are related to research or to some kind of like therapy related position, something along those lines. And so part of it is that since the co-op advisor is assigned to your major specifically, it allows for you to kind of seek out the jobs and get advice from people who are dealing with professionals in that area, and to see what exactly they're looking for. So don't get scared in terms of like what they're looking for. They're not actually, you know, they know your students. It's not like they want you to have necessarily like job experience before you actually apply to your first co-op even, but anything counts. So like if you were volunteering with a club, or if you were in a club, that itself, any kind of experience counts to put on your resume. And so speaking of resumes, so the co-op class does have a lot of perks again. So it's led by your co-op advisor specifically, and then what they do in this co-op class is they go over your resume, they go over how to make your resume, and they do mock interviews. So basically you get all the preparation that you need before you apply to a job, which is really, really beneficial. And so basically once you have your resume finalized, and the way that they kind of go over that in the class is they give you a rundown of exactly how a resume should look like. And you know, you include things like, again, your club experience, or if you've tutored someone, you've babysat, just anything that you really think would be of value. And they do specify exactly what you can put on your resume if you're having trouble with that. But once you're done with your resume, the biggest aspect of the co-op program, which I think is the most useful thing honestly to Northeastern students and alumni, is the co-op database. So basically there's a huge database full of all the jobs in the world that you could think of, based on if you're an engineering major, you're a CS major, you're a psych major, you're a pre-med student, you're pre-PA, pre-vet, anything. So all of these jobs are posted on this one database, and it really allows for everyone to kind of access whatever job they're looking for. So for example, say you were a psych student and you wanted to go into marketing. So you wanted to go into like psych applied marketing. There are marketing jobs that you have access to that maybe business students would have access to, but you have access to them as well. So the great thing about the database is that you're not limited by what most people do look for in your major, but you're exposed to all of these jobs. There are thousands and thousands of jobs, so there really are so many opportunities that you can apply for, which is really, really helpful. And so once you get access to this database, you have your resume ready. You find a position that you like on the database, and you basically click apply, and you upload your resume, and it sends your resume directly to the employer. And basically the great thing about this database and the great thing about the program is that the employer essentially knows that you're going to be only working for 6 months. They specify exactly how much they're going to pay you on the database. So all of this information that you would need to know for a job, or you want to tell an potential employer, they would already know it before, because they know that they're hiring a co-op student from Northeastern. So that is incredibly helpful. It makes the process a lot easier on students, because we don't have to kind of declare our intention. The employers know exactly what they're getting out of hiring co-op students. So in terms of the timeline in like a regular semester, so the first semester right before you apply to co-op, for example, okay? So you would be taking the co-op class, and you start your co-op class in the first month, and within the first 3 to 4 weeks you get your resume written and finalized, and also you're not allowed to have access to the database without having your advisor look over your resume. So again, there's so many protections in place for you to get the best positive result out of this process, which is incredibly amazing. And really, there's so much guidance that you can literally go to your co-op advisor, ask them any questions that you have about jobs, about your resume, about what's available. It's an amazing resource to be able to work with this program and these advisors, because they know so much about exactly what you're getting into. So within the first 3 to 4 weeks, they kind of go over your resume, and then by the second and third month, you basically apply to jobs. And so the great thing about this is that it is basically like a rolling thing. You really can't really predict like, oh, this is the exact date by which I need a co-op. And especially with COVID, a lot of things have changed with that. Again, like, people are still getting co-ops and they're still hiring, and obviously the job market has like kind of declined a little bit, but hopefully we're getting back up once the panoramic is over. But there are obviously still positions available that people apply for, which is great. And so within those 2 to 3 months, you know, you'll get an interview offer, you'll interview with people, maybe you won't get it, but you'll keep applying to other places, and that's like the beauty of it. So you can basically, some people get interviews and offers within like the first week or something, but you know, others take time and take a couple months. And so it really depends on like what you're looking for and what the employer wants as well. So there's no deadline on it, but you would want ideally to have a co-op by the end of the semester. So something that you do need to know is that once you accept a co-op, you can't really back out of it. So it sounds kind of like binding or whatever, but it is. Like, if you're applying to co-ops that you like and you think you gel well with the employer and you do say yes to the employment, then you are going to have an experience that you signed up for. And part of it is also there's a relationship between the employer and the co-op advisors and Northeastern University as a whole, just to kind of preserve that relationship. They do say that you can't back out of it once you've signed on, but that's honestly not a problem if you're signing on to something that you really like. As a side note, this is all the standard information for any student at Northeastern University. I think it kind of varies based on the major that you have. If you're a CS student, for example, there are coding interviews and things like that. Again, based on like the job that you're looking for, things may change. You know, some positions also require a cover letter, and they do teach you how to write the cover letter in the class as well. So again, there's no really opportunities where they skimp out on telling you exactly what you need to do and like how they'll help you, which is great. In the co-op class and things like that, they really set you up for success in that they tell you how to do your interviews, they tell you what questions you should prepare for, they tell you exactly how you should write your resume, exactly how you should present yourself, how should you write emails. They make you practice that kind of thing. So all of these are really vital skills that people don't really realize that they need for the future. It honestly is a program that is extremely beneficial for people who are in any position really, but especially for people who really don't know where to start. And personally, I would say that I was one of them. It was a really great way to be able to put myself out there and to understand that I'm getting an opportunity to further my career, set myself up for success in the future by getting these opportunities. I really, really recommend this co-op program for that reason if you are choosing to come to Northeastern University. If you have any questions regarding my experience and like what I did, or you know what you think you should do, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments or message me privately. I am also on Instagram at Curiots, which is the name of my channel. It's the same thing. But yeah, if you have any other questions about the co-op process and like what it is actually like for someone who is going into graduate studies or things like that, don't hesitate to ask me, DM me. But thank you so much for watching. It is such a pleasure to talk to you today. And comment down below what other videos you'd like to hear from me about, whether it is about Northeastern University or mental health. I'm going to be uploading videos now a little bit more consistently, so look out for those. And I'm so excited that you were able to join me today. And it would be a great pleasure for me if you would be able to subscribe to my channel to hear more from me. And I'll be seeing you in my next video, hopefully.